Welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler.
I'm Mock.
Sheen Washable.
Nope.
Soulsy.
And I'm the Red Baron.
See, I thought we were going to forget that because Jeff's not here. He usually initiates it. I know I threw you off again, Mock, because I didn't say it, and I'm joined by...
No cues.
That's all right. It's all about
No cues.
You got to pretend we're live.
That's right.
No, shut up. Just shut up. So J Mart's not here today. Damn shame. He'll be doing a gross shot next week for his absence.
Very bad.
Kyle's already concocted what it's going to be. So J Mart, if you're listening, you're going to need a pail. It's pretty terrible.
Good luck.
Good luck.
So we'll be featuring a new private stock on the show that was made like 30 seconds ago. It's urine colored.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Smells great.
Smells great, but we've had our good friend Greg Houston of GDH Woodcrafting, where we're recording from, in North Haven, Connecticut. Shout out to Greg. He tasted it, and he said some bad things about it. He didn't have a whole lot of good things to say about it.
Did not get great reviews.
I think Machine Washable took a picture, so we can post that. You can't really see all the nips that are in it, but there's some gross stuff in there. So before we all start diving into that, starting lineup as picked out by our own Machine Washable. Now, there's a lot of variety in this one. So Machine, why don't you tell us about the starting lineup?
Well, see, here's what happened. When I went to the liquor store to pick up the beers, they did not have like craft singles. So I got us each a 40 of Budweiser, and whoever drinks the least will do a shot.
Losing. All right, we get it.
Then you're drinking with Jeff next week.
Whatever.
Are you excited for that shot, though?
I'm not going to do that one.
Oh, you are.
Why you open it? We're not opening
I'm getting
it.
a head start. I'm going to cheat.
Souls, don't sell yourself short.
He's on steroids.
Bitch, you took my vibe.
Toast of excellence then, before we crack open these bad boys and get the real nice sound effects of St. Louis, Missouri beer. Larry Fitzgerald passing Isaac Bruce, right?
Yep.
Fourth all-time on the receiving yards list in NFL history. And a losing effort. What? What, Kyle?
I don't know. I don't know the exact numbers, but is he able to advance higher?
I think he could theoretically get to number 2.
Yeah,
I think he can get to number 2, but he'll never. No, he's not going to pass Jerry Rice. I think he can get I think this is all based off Madden because I always put him in the slot. I think he can get to number 2 in yards. I think he can get to 3 in touchdowns, and I think he can finish like 2nd in catches.
Looks like Drew Brees goes to the Cardinals next year, and then he'll benefit more.
Or if Fitz signs with the Patriots.
Anyways,
So you had something you wanted to say before we crack these
no,
open.
because it would involve me drinking this.
So,
Well, there's also the Cardinals in St. Louis.
what about them?
It makes sense for us to do Larry Fitzgerald from St. Louis, Missouri, Budweiser.
Oh my God,
That was
that was just a lot of nonsense.
The explaining made it worse.
Can we edit that out?
Kyle, it's not a twist off; it's a cork.
I know.
Just in there, creak, 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 creak. All right, so this is the first. So, just for the quick rundown
He
before
was so right.
before we crack these open, there's like Irish whiskey in here. There's some cinnamon whiskey. There's peppermint schnapps. There's like 99
he's
apples,
crying.
99 grape.
Wait,
Root
bro.
beer Smirnoff.
root beer
just
Smirnoff.
wait.
There's like grape vodka in here, or grapefruit vodka. There's some gin. It's pretty rough.
Got some Fireball mixing with some
Death.
bullshit going on in there.
So anyway, that was some sold. Toast to Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh shit! Now we're doing this.
All right. Oh, look at Kyle go. I thought of
Kyle's
doing
gonna
this.
make me
Actually,
laugh.
Kyle's wow.
Oh, my
And it's all on his shirt.
It's okay. You guys are gonna need this after.
It's so stupid.
Told you I'm cheating.
You know what we don't have because we dropped the ball on this. We don't have the pick'ems.
The pick'ems are over on the table.
Yeah, but we didn't do the math to see who's.
Well, we could talk amongst ourselves. Kyle, would you mind doing it? Or?
He can't do it that
No,
fast.
it's fine. It's fine. Kyle's been first by like 2 games. I'm right behind him. Mock's a game behind me. Kendall's within 9, and Jeff is like 14 out of first.
Probably all accurate.
Yeah, that's pretty much where it's going to be. I've lost my train of thought on the routine. Oh, shot trivia.
Shot trivia. And in honor of Larry Fitzgerald, I have a question about Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I want to do your shot first, ass.
All right.
Good
You
luck.
excited?
I'm excited.
Yeah, you know why? Because you're a dick.
But Kendall
Yeah.
likes gross things.
Yeah.
But
this
it's
is-
more than just gross.
Just
But
drink it.
there's going to be no reaction.
Yeah.
This is a great bottle too.
He's just gonna be like, oh, this is it's not bad. It's not bad.
It's gonna be bad.
I could drink it.
Yeah.
That's-
Just see, dude. You'll understand.
So.
It's like cleaning solution.
You got all those like 31 flavors going on in your mouth.
it's odd.
Yeah. Do you like it?
No.
Here, you guys take a sip of it.
We take it when it's warranted, Kyle.
See, right there. Go ahead.
I feel like
What?
the peppermint schnapps is the thing that comes through the most. It's like mouthwash. That's what it's got like. I can rinse.
I got the
rinse with it.
fireball, dude.
Maybe it's layered.
Maybe. Let me find out.
Going back in.
Your trivia question.
That's a good noise.
That's where you're just going for more, back and forth.
We're gonna have to refill it next week.
Yeah, I got the peppermint schnapps now. Oh God.
That's gonna be a great clip.
We have our chief editor Rita in the corner, and she's been doing a blooper reel for us. And I hope the cork popping noise.
There's be a lot of souls on there.
Yeah, but I hope the cork popping noise makes it onto the
The blooper reel so far is very funny.
all 1 minute of it. It's so hard. It's so hard to make
Yeah.
a blooper reel. All right, we've got enough track. Question.
Okay,
Question.
so in honor of Larry Fitzgerald, how many touchdown receptions does he have to this point in his career?
That's a tough one. Probably like 400 or something. 123.
125.
What a dick. This isn't the Price is Right. You don't win anything.
No, that was going to be my guess.
I'm gonna go with
11.
108.
Wow, 109.
Damn. I
Maxine
shot
Russell.
high.
All right. So the best part is the private stock is the thing, but the gross shot is going to be made. So now we're just making another one for Mock.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, you're doing
Welcome.
that. You're doing that. It's the end of the story. And you just better hope you drink more beer than somebody at this table because I have a double-sized shot glass.
Welcome.
So we're at this is our host, the Red Baron's favorite segment, the 3/4 of the way. He specifically likes the 3/4 of the way mark. It's the defining point in the NFL season for him.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's almost over.
No.
You hate football.
I love football.
You like arena football more.
I like running football.
Colin Kaepernick might be going there.
Yeah. Oh, you know who else we could have done Toast of Excellence to? Well, this is our 3/4 of the way segment. Roger Goodell. Contract extension.
Big time.
I'm pretty sure that, I have no clue how that happened.
Oh, I
The
need
owners love them because they make them so much money.
That's true.
He makes the owners so much money.
So, with the 3/4 way mark, so we've done it for the end of the first quarter, we've done it for the halfway point. So we'll start off with teams who are hot and who are not. So, Red Baron, why don't you lead us off with who's hot?
the New York Jets, a team you wouldn't think. I mean, a laughing stock for many years. Josh McCown at the helm, having a good season, and they're putting together some wins.
Does he looks good?
Will he be good next year? Probably not.
No.
But, good for him this year, good for the Jets.
Ryan Fitzpatrick syndrome.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Souls, who's not?
Who's not?
Are you really having to think about this?
Dude, let me be, bro.
Okay.
We're going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
They blew the game on Monday night against the Steelers. And they are underperforming all year. They're supposed to be like a playoff contention team and just have shit the bed. Every time they're about to win a game, they blow it in the fourth.
They should play the Lions.
Yeah.
Because the Lions score 30 points in the fourth quarter. That'd be interesting. Bengals go up 85-0. Final score 86-85 Lions.
Yeah, see what Stafford can do.
Yeah. Maxine Washable.
That's not my name.
It's your name. Who is not hot?
A team that's not hot. They start off red hot. Kansas City Chiefs.
Ugh.
They start out 5-0.
Cop-out. It's cop-out.
Why is it a cop out?
Because you suck humongous dick.
They started 5-0, and now they're 6-6. That whole division is.
They're not making the playoffs.
That whole division shouldn't make the playoffs.
Hold on, because I think the Chargers are hot.
Yeah.
The Chargers have won I think it's what they started off 0-3, and they've won 6 of their last 8, right? I think it was. So I math that up. I don't know, but
But they're hot.
yeah, they're tied for first, right? I believe with the Chiefs and the Raiders technically.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs still technically hold first place because of divisional wins, but they're winning games, and Phillip Rivers is the best quarterback in that division, and it's Keenan Allen has been part of a big role of that, and this could be their year.
The Chargers should also be like 9-3.
They should. I agree with you.
Missed a lot of late game field goals, and they finally cut.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But it's like
guy.
they're
Yeah, he's
there.
gone.
They're there in a lot of games. They have a very underrated defense and a very underrated offense and a really good head coach. And I think they're striving towards greatness. So on the flip side, we do the players. So Souls, who's hot?
Big Ben Roethlisberger found his stroke. He's now hitting receivers. He's now making plays on the run. He's finally looking like old Big Ben again.
Bringing women to hotel rooms.
Hey, as long as he's winning games, I don't give a what he does.
Spoken like a true fan.
Hey, man.
Machine Washable, who is not hot?
I'm going to double down on my Chiefs statement already and say Kareem Hunt. He looked like a shoo-in for almost like an MVP season, and he's been non-existent.
They stopped running the ball.
They did. They changed their whole game plan. Couldn't tell you why, but I mean the kid looked super talented, and now they don't even use him. He just kind of fell off.
Red Baron, who's hot?
Coming off a tough loss, but I think Carson Wentz is still playing very well. Struggled versus the Seahawks, but I think it just, I'm going to use an NFL analyst term. I think it's growing pains, and I think that Seahawks defense is still decent. It's run down, but still decent. But to this point, Wentz has played very well. He's up there in I think he's number 1 in yards for NFC. Is that correct?
I think he's number 1 in yards for the league.
No, he's behind Brady. NFC, I believe he's.
Oh no, he's number 1 in touchdowns. That's what it is. He's number 1 in touchdowns.
Yeah.
But so I think he'll close out very well.
That's fair. That's fair.
Paul, can you name us a player who's hot?
Who's hot?
Yes.
I think Jay Cutler's a good-looking guy.
He's right.
I think he's a good-looking guy. Who's hot?
Smoking Jay Cutler.
Yeah. Rex Burkhead. But it's one of those things we could every 4 weeks we do this segment. If this show goes on for another 37 years, it doesn't matter. Every quarter point there'll be a different running back playing for the New England Patriots who's hot. It's just he seems like the first reliable back that the Patriots have had since LeGarrette Blount the first stint. Because they cycle through him. I mean, who was it? What was the name of the guy that Gillislee had a monster first game, and then he just hasn't really done much since. Touchdowns here and there, but White's had a few good games. But Burkhead's been able to put together a string of a few good games. He's picking up blocks. He's catching the ball. He's scoring touchdowns.
He looks like the most consistent. He fits the Patriots system the best.
So there's as if you listen to the last show, we had Machine Washable's 11-second rant on the Giants. That was supposed to last 3 minutes.
Minute and a half.
But it's old news now. McAdoo and what's his name?
Jerry Reese.
Jerry Reese have been fired.
Out of town.
And Eli Manning has been given his starting job back. And they're not giving Odell Beckham Jr. a long-term contract, it looks like.
Now, you said that before. Where did you see that?
On ESPN. It was on the halftime report of the Monday night game.
I didn't see it. I was just asking.
No, they said there's no guarantee. So I mean, they still could, obviously, but I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think it's injury based, but it brings up the topic of coaches on the hot seat. So who's on the hot seat, Kyle? What do you mean? All right, so Mark, who's on the hot seat?
Chuck Pagano from the Colts. He seems to have been there for a while. I mean, granted, Luck's been hurt the last couple seasons, but I don't think he's going to be in Indianapolis too much longer.
All right.
So we're going to go Marvin Lewis, who should have been fired 40 years
He's never going to lose his
He's
job.
been on the hot seat since his first game.
He's never going to lose his job.
Don't know what the Bengals are thinking about keeping him.
He's just the AFC's Leslie Frazier.
It's just so
Him
bad.
and the owners are best friends.
Dude, he should be fired.
Oh, absolutely. But he's never going to get fired.
Oh, he might. Maybe this year.
No way.
Maybe next year.
It's a joke, I think they're just seeing how long they can keep him around.
I think the Bengals are. I think the front office, they're waiting for that. Like they've got AJ Green, but I think they're waiting for like that next like offensive breakout star for them. Like Mixon's looked good. He got hurt against the Steelers. Bernard looked really good when he came in, but I mean he's been iffy. And so I think they're waiting for like that next like breakout star, whether it's a receiver, a tight end, a running back, or whatever. And then I think that's when the expectations kind of go up. Because like for them, I feel like that they're just happy they're making the playoffs. Because they're quote unquote they're regularly making the playoffs. It might not be every year, but they've been in the playoffs probably more than not over the past 8 years.
Yeah,
and they put up tough games against their division opponents, and they play upset, and so I just think that they're satisfied because really, even if the Bengals they're not a 9-2 team right now, a 10-2 team. That's just not who they are. They're at best a 7-4 team, and so to be what are they 6-5?
6 and
5 and 7.
5 and 7. So they're not that far off of their goal.
Yeah, it's true.
They just don't have what it takes, and Marvin Lewis is only good with the media. On that, he's a pretty terrible coach.
You can't say he's a bad coach though, because he's always in the playoffs. He just can't get it done in the playoffs.
He always loses the big games.
Let me put it this way for you.
But I don't think he's the reason they lost to the Steelers.
He might not be, but like, first he overstayed his welcome. They need to just have a.
I agree they need to move on from head coach, but I think he'd get another starting job immediately, another coaching job.
Oh, he would
instantaneously.
New York.
But think about it. Would any team not bring in a coach that consistently gets 10, 11 wins every year? They're always a 10-win team. He doesn't win in the playoffs. You're right.
I think there's more to it. I mean, the Bengals defense to me has always been an overrated defense. I mean, they have a lot of really good players that make individual good plays, but as a team, as a collective unit, they've just never really played that well. There's always miscommunication in the backfield.
They're very undisciplined.
So,
well, yeah, you have Perfect running around out there. Guy's a thug.
That guy's awesome. Who's on the hot seat?
I think Andy Reid is on the hot seat. Sorry, did I take yours?
I'm not doing this anymore. I'm giving up.
Well, I mean, we can go back and forth on it. A lot of hype. I guess that's not the right thing to say.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Souls keeps looking at other people's beer levels. Every time he takes a sip, he goes, and then he looks at his beer and he goes,
"I think you're going to finish it, Kyle. Don't sell yourself short."
He's going to finish it. But he's going to finish it last.
You're.
So go ahead.
I think. Well, I'm just going to say a lot of hype involving the Chiefs, and they're not getting it done. And put the blame on, Andy Reid. You put the blame on. Nice. On Alex Smith. But it's tough because Alex Smith started off this season, playing very well. And it seems he's kind of resorted back a little bit to kind of just the check down passes and whatnot. But I don't know who you put the blame on. But I feel as though the front office is like, hey, maybe we're not getting it done with either of these guys and may go a different direction altogether.
I also say Andy Reid for a different reason. I don't think Andy Reid's on the hot seat because of the Chiefs' performance. I think Andy Reid's on the hot seat because the way they've played, I think that they're pretty much, at this point now, just going to move on from Alex Smith, going to go the Patrick Mahomes or have another quarterback that starts and bring in Mahomes later in the season type route. And I think they're going to go with a young coach with the young offensive core that they have in Kelsey, Hill, and the other guy I'm missing, Hunt. And I think they're just going to bring in a new coach for these young faces, maybe a younger coach, and they're going to go that route. And Andy Reid will just go elsewhere.
He's another one. I think Andy Reid would find a job almost immediately.
Oh, yeah, he would. I think Andy Reid's one of those coaches that even though he hasn't found the playoff success, more so than Marvin Lewis, but even though he hasn't really found that solid playoff success, I think like teams that are on the fence about their head coach would fire them if Andy Reid became available get Andy Reid, i.e. the Chicago Bears.
He is a good coach. Like Kendall was saying earlier this season, he seemed like he was just out there just taking chances. Smith was slinging the ball. They were letting him throw, and then just got super conservative. And they went back to, like you said, the check down, and they're not playing with that explosiveness.
They lost some close games, and I think it kind of derailed them, and then I think he just lost confidence.
Another name out there is Mike McCarthy, who is on the hot seat. He makes a lot of bad decisions and doesn't own up to them. I think it was the Steeler game where he decided to kick the 57-yard field goal where he should have either punted or went for it. It's just like...
I don't think he'll be on the hot seat.
Because Rodgers is out.
Yeah, because he's hurt. I think there's very few... Because, like Tomlin is... Like, I don't associate Tomlin with Ben, but you associate Belichick with Brady. You associated Coughlin with Manning. You associated Dungy with Manning. You associated, McCarthy with Rodgers. There's certain quarterbacks you just associate them with the coach, and that's how it is. And as long as that player's there, I feel like that coach is going to be there. Because if Rodgers was here, the Packers, we wouldn't be talking about the Packers being on the outside of the playoffs looking in.
No. And
because of the way that they have played, they're still in it. And Rodgers is going to come back now. I personally think it's a dumb move. I think the Packers should just play the rest of the season the way it plays out for them, take the pick that they get as a result of it, and get another piece, get a good defensive piece to help your team out. Because they're still going to have Cobb, they're still going to have Adams, they're still going to have Nelson, and then they're going to have a healthy Aaron Rodgers next year. I think that no matter... I just feel like he's kind of untouchable in the Packers organization because... I mean, look at Belichick. Belichick, the new... I don't remember how long ago it was, but the new overtime rules were in set, and he chose to kick it instead of receive it, and they went right down the field and scored a touchdown, and they lost. Any other coach did that, it'd be a humongous deal.
Oh, yeah.
But there's just certain coaches that kind of have that invincible type of feel to them. I think McCarthy falls into that category.
I just know that a lot of people in Green Bay, like the fans after reading a bunch of shit, want McCarthy out.
Kyle's really in tune with the Green Bay.
No, but I've been reading
population.
they want McCarthy out because he makes a lot of terrible decisions. And they don't see the team going anywhere farther as they are.
I think another name that could potentially be on the list too is Jack Del Rio. The Raiders haven't performed up to standards. And I mean, I understand that, like last week they didn't have Cooper or Crabtree, but they still won. But it's just nobody on that team has performed up to even at par, really. I mean, there's games. Derek Carr's had yards, but yards don't win games. So I don't know. I just think the team has underperformed in all aspects of the game, and when something like that happens, it's the coach.
See, I agree to a degree with you there.
You can take a private stock shot. You agree to a degree? No, you take a private stock.
Listen.
What's your whistle?
I blame a lot of the Raiders' troubles on their GM. They knew last year their secondary was bad, the defense wasn't great, and they didn't really do anything to address it.
Well, they did. They drafted Garen Conley. He just was out for the year.
But that's what I mean. But you're talking one player for an 11-man defense.
They thought maybe, hey, Sean Smith will pick it up, learn the system
that's
more.
What, they didn't do enough to help the team out, and it's falling on the coach. But I don't blame him entirely.
Well, just the offense is not the same this year. Bernard Cooper has underperformed. Crabtree hasn't been the same.
Yeah, I mean, Crabtree got off to a great start, but he hasn't. Yeah, you said he hasn't done anything.
And Jared Cook, I don't think is the right fit for that offense.
Carr himself has underperformed.
Yeah.
So
Marshawn Lynch is not a good fit for that team.
How is it?
I like this.
Of course he does.
Do you see like the mouthwash aspect?
I didn't get any schnapps though. It kind of just tasted like root beer.
New layer. Soul's going in for another
So it's supposed to test and be like, really?
Really, that didn't taste bad.
Souls?
Different. Here.
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean.
All right, let's around the horn.
I don't have to because I missed the first two.
That's true. You just got to finish the bottle then.
It's different now.
It's weird.
Paul, I want you to taste it though. Because...
I feel like I'm still getting schnapps.
I want to wait for a new flavor. I haven't found one that's appealing to me yet. I want to wait for the
Give
gin.
it a good shake.
No, I want the gin flavor to come through. No, I want it to keep settling. It's working out well. So we talk about coaches. We'll do one last thing about the coaches. So, do you think the Giants next season? Because I don't foresee this interim head coach becoming their head coach.
No, not at all.
So, do you foresee the Giants looking for a defensive-minded head coach or an offensive-minded head coach?
I think offensive. Because to me, they're going to draft a quarterback with the second, third pick, whatever they end up with. And to pair a young quarterback with a defensive-minded head coach, I don't think is a good idea. I would rather have like you were saying, a younger offensive-minded head coach to kind of grow with the quarterback.
Well, that all depends. I don't really necessarily think the Giants are going to reach for a quarterback. The 3 quarterbacks that are in the draft really have underperformed in college themselves, all of them. And I just feel like the Giants might.
You're trying to tell me that Baker Mayfield?
He wasn't he's not the top 3 quarterback in the draft.
How is he not?
It goes Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Josh Rosen.
That's dumb.
I never understand the draft because like Baker Mayfield's like a Heisman finalist, but he's not in the top 3. I don't get it.
It's just how pro quarterbacks see, how pro like analysts see the college quarterbacks. I don't know either.
What?
Yeah, I'll take a shot. Don't worry. But like it's just
Pro
Josh
bass.
Allen has the physical attributes where he's 6'8", 240. That's what they see in him.
So what do you think then? Defense or offensive minded?
I think they go defensive minded, and I think they stick with Manning for another year, and then groom Davis, see what he has, and just find a coach that really works with that team.
See, to just dispute Kyle, I think Spagnuolo is a great coordinator, so they won't need that defensive mind running the team. They need the offensive side.
But he's a bad head coach.
He's a horrible head coach. Spagnuolo is not a good head coach, but he's a good defensive coordinator.
I think they're going to go after a big name rather than like an assistant.
I want Harbaugh.
That ain't going to happen.
I want Harbaugh. Bring him to New York.
But that's a defensive minded coach.
Yeah, he would just be fun in New York. I know it contradicts what I said, but he would just be fun to watch in New York.
I think they go offensive. And you know who they get?
Who?
He's on Monday Night Football.
I knew he was going to say it.
John Gruden. No, they're not going to get him. He's got a cushy job. He's not gonna go.
I think the young quarterback might be something to entice him. I don't think he comes out either, but if the Giants
Why would they draft another quarterback when they just drafted Davis Webb?
it's because the Giants typically don't have that top 3 pick.
No, but why wouldn't you get
Personally, I think they should trade it.
offensive line in the draft or go get Saquon Barkley, who's supposed to be one of the best players in the draft?
Personally, I think they should trade down and amass more picks. That's me. I mean, I'm not the GM, obviously, but that's how I think they should look at it.
Well, some people you can't pass up on, like a Saquon Barkley who can do it all as a running back.
Like a Leonard Fournette was.
Yeah, and just catches ball out of backfield, runs hard, does punt and kick returns. Can't pass that up.
But what's a good running back with no line?
You can fix that. The Giants have money.
The Giants have money, and the line has improved.
The line
So-
has been playing much better.
And Darkwa has played well recently. The offensive line is not bad for run defense or run blocking. It's bad for pass blocking.
That's a good point.
And so they could very well be one of those teams that they could literally just be the Bears. Like the Bears were 3-4 years ago. Cutler was sacked 4 times a game, but Matt Forte had all day to pick a hole and run through.
It's twofold. Because I think teams aren't, or this year anywhere, we're not scared of Eli dropping back, throwing the ball. And that way, you know.
Once they get all the pieces back next year, and they can add a running back that's a dual threat, it'll open up Eli to be able to actually play better.
That is a very good point, Kyle. I agree with you.
They can get like a Le'Veon Bell type player who can do it all. That's what I think Barkley's going to amount to.
Is there a scenario, you think, that there's no Eli in New York next year?
Yes.
I
could
say
easily
yes. It depends.
I don't think he's there next year.
I agree with you, Paul.
I don't either, especially with how they handled him over last week. I don't think so either.
Well, I think it all depends on the coach, to be honest. I think if they bring in an experienced coach who can win it now, I think he stays. If they'd want to go younger and go with like a 30-year-old like Sean McVay, then
the reason I say that, I understand what you're saying and I agree with those points, but I say it because I don't think that Reese was the mastermind behind benching Eli. I just think he was the guy pulling the strings on McAdoo to do it. I think it goes deeper than just Reese. I think there was more in the front office saying, let's figure something out.
It came out, I think it was this morning, that there was other people in the front office thinking
so
Eli
there's
was
more
done.
that wants to do it. So I just don't think it's not a comfortable fit. You're not going to, Eli, it might just be time for Eli to move on.
I agree.
And here's the thing. Eli kind of, he's got elite type receivers right now. And you go down the line and you look at the Giants' success that they've had over the past decade with Eli, And he hasn't really had that. Eli might be the type of quarterback that doesn't do well with elite receivers.
Well, right now he's just playing conservative football.
I'm saying, well, he might be like a Tom Brady type of quarterback where he needs a team with a bunch of decent receivers and let Eli make the decisions.
But you're not going to win games with Roger Lewis or Tavares King.
Well, no, because Eli looked really good when Odell was at his height. He's played well with top name receiver. I mean,
he's played well with him, but like Plexico Burress, I don't consider ever being a top tier receiver. He's just a top tier on that team. Victor Cruz was never a top tier receiver.
He was a top number 2.
Well, Victor Cruz was fast, and Burress was a vertical threat. They were just,
They were good receivers, but they were nowhere near the top 10 receivers in the league or anything like that, whereas Odell does. And, I mean, even this year, I mean, when Beckham was healthy, like, Eli was not playing well in the beginning of the season.
He had a few good games where he threw for like 300 yards and had 4 touchdowns, especially against the Eagles. He played very well in that game. They just ran right down the field with 30 seconds left.
I'm just saying, I think Eli needs a new fit. I don't. And Eli's a different quarterback now.
He's fit well in Jacksonville.
I think that's where he ends up is Jacksonville. Reunite with Coughlin. And you look at that team, they're a quarterback away. Not to say Eli's a top 5 quarterback anymore, or if he ever was, but he's better than Blake Bortles.
They need a quarterback that's not going to turn the ball over.
See, it's funny. I don't think he goes there. I think they keep Bortles. I think they believe in Bortles. And I think that, yeah, they are a quarterback away. I think he goes to Denver. I think he goes to a team that has good receivers that have not been playing well, and the offense has been underperforming, and has a good defense that can back him up. That hasn't been playing well this year because they've been on the field for 38 minutes a game. I think Denver would be a different thing because he still has a speedy receiver in Sanders, but he has Demaryius Thomas who can do any route, and he's a good route runner. And, some running backs that can do some stuff, and an offensive line that can kind of give him some help.
And hear me out. He can also go to Washington. Only because Kirk Cousins...
Eli won't go to a division
I don't think Kirk Cousins stays.
Me neither, but Eli won't go to a division.
Consider this. Quarterbacks and pitchers are very similar. He's going to the desert. Palmer hangs it up this year. He goes to Arizona. Hangs out with Bruce.
When Paul was... I wanted to make a point. There was 3 teams that I thought he was going to go to, and you guys said the other 2. I was between Jacksonville, Denver, and Arizona. All 3, I think he would fit. I mean, not for a long-term run, but on any of those teams, I think he can make a playoff run. And
personally, I think Andy Dalton's going to Arizona, but I'll leave that for another time.
So here's the other thing too. I don't think it's too far. I don't think it'll happen, but I don't think it's too far-fetched of an idea if Andy Reid stays to have him go to Kansas City. They have Patrick Mahomes, but he hasn't proven anything. He's still hurt-ish, kind of.
Mahomes is just... They're not playing him this year. He's just...
Well, I know, but
he's just sitting.
But he's still kind of banged up, too. Like, he still has injuries on the injury report from time to time. And he's had injuries. And I don't really know that the marbles are really there for Mahomes. I don't know if they're trusting in their pick in Mahomes.
I think they trust him because of his big arm. And for him and Tyreek and Kelsey, that's what they're hoping for, him to throw deep shots.
I think next year he's getting the reins.
And I think Alex Smith can go to like an Arizona or Denver, a quarterback needy team. Even Minnesota might need a quarterback because who knows if Case Keenum stays.
Why haven't they put Mahomes in yet?
Because Smith isn't playing bad enough to sit him. He had a couple of rough games, but
was Eli playing bad enough to sit him?
No, but the Chiefs weren't 2-9, and they didn't let their coach make a stupid decision.
Well, but that's just it though. A 2-9 team benching their quarterback versus a team that went 5-0 and is now 6-6, you're more likely to see a benching there. But and I'm not saying that Smith was the problem, but
the defense is the problem in Kansas City right now.
They're giving up yards like crazy.
You can't expect Alex to put up more than 35 points and beat a team.
But against the Jets was the last time he put up those kinds of points. They haven't, not Alex Smith, but the offense alone. Hill has not been playing out as well as he did at the start of the season. Hunt hasn't been playing well.
Hill's had 3 straight great games.
I'm saying as a whole, he hasn't been consistently good. He's had great games, but he's had okay games.
I just feel like
Kelsey does well, but that's also because Kelsey's the only person on that team I would trust as a quarterback to throw the ball to between 10 and 30 yards.
I just feel like you can't expect a quarterback to keep scoring points every time they have the ball when your defense keeps giving up touchdowns. You give up 35 points to the Jets. You have 20-plus points to the Bills, who are struggling scoring points. It's like if they go to Denver and they get 20 points, it's the defense's problem, not Alex.
The Chiefs are missing Eric Berry bad.
Big time.
Big time. That injury week 1 hurt him real bad.
It's a shame
It
then
does,
that
but I don't agree with that. Not to interrupt you, Brian, but they are missing him. But I don't think the Chiefs are doing. I don't think the Chiefs are any different with Eric Berry right now.
Eric Berry can lock up the best.
He's an all-pro safety. How can you say that?
You saw what he did against Gronk. He locked him up.
Yeah, but Eric Berry is not the type of person that you put in man coverage every play. He locked up Gronk, but that's because it's the New England Patriots. You're playing Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback in the NFL, with a bunch of receivers that are all capable of getting 100 yards a game.
He's a playmaker. He gets interceptions.
I understand.
They're missing that type of player right now.
I understand that, but I don't think the Chiefs are sitting at 10-2 if Eric Berry's there.
And I think people are exposing Marcus Peters for what he is.
Where's the pass rush?
They don't have one.
So Eric Berry's going to provide that?
They're all 50 years old.
But Eric Berry's going to provide a pass rush?
He's going to help them.
But that's what I'm saying.
Coverage.
Eric Berry's not going to cause them to be 10-2. They might be 8-4, but they're not 10-2.
Better than 6-6.
I understand that, but I'm saying but Eric Berry's not the issue, and I think him getting injured was something for them to see for them. There's no team that relies on one player.
I wanted to ask you guys too, because Kyle kind of hinted on it before. Where's Case Keenum go? He's signed right now, I think, for $2 million 1 year, so he's super cheap. He's going to get big time money next year.
He's not staying in Minnesota.
I don't think so.
No,
but he's going to get big money.
Bridgewater, the fan favorite there.
But
what's Bridgewater's contract?
He's actually a free agent next year.
But here's the thing, Kyle. Case Keenum, could easily be in the MVP talks right now. You can't really say he's not. He's playing out of his mind.
But it's just the fact that, Bridgewater is the leader of that locker room.
Oh, I listen.
And people have expressed that. I think Keenum could either go to one of somebody's going to overpay for him.
Absolutely.
I think the Vikings don't make the playoffs next year if they start Bridgewater. I don't think so.
I think it's going to be hard for that team to look at Keenum and say, "Hey, thanks for getting us, the number 1, number 2 seed. See you later."
I think he stays because he's made his money. It's like, hey, let's see if you can win out this job in preseason, and then let's see what happens. Honestly, Bridgewater, he's played well, but
he hasn't played in a long time. And Bridgewater's also the type of receiver. We're not talking about Seattle. We're not talking about a team that has really kind of average receivers with a quarterback that makes them look good because he gets out of the pocket, keeps a play alive for 18 seconds, and everybody runs back to the ball. The Minnesota Vikings have route-running possession receivers that do their job as a route runner and then may or may not panic when he gets out of the pocket. So with Bridgewater, who not necessarily is run first, but will run, it throws the offense out of whack.
Well, do we know how old Case Keenum is?
He's on the younger
28.
side. But we're talking about a team here that's exceeded expectations in almost every facet.
Big time.
No one expected the Vikings to be in this situation. And there's help, with Rodgers going down. But the Vikings have played surprisingly well. And a lot is due to Case Keenum. And I think they're going to look at that, going forward, like, hey, maybe.
And I get that, but I think they're probably going to say Case Keenum's going to be like, I want money.
He's going to get a big payday.
But it's like, who wants to pay him that type of money?
Because think about it. Look at what Mike Glennon got before this season. And he hasn't even played. They're paying him $14 million. Keenum's going to get paid. Why, though?
The Bears was just looking.
Because the Bears needed an insurance option in case they didn't start Trubisky.
But that's what I mean. So Keenum's agent is going to go out and say, hey, this guy got $14 million. You're going to look at what Kirk Cousins gets.
Think about it.
Keenum's going to get a lot of money.
A lot of people aren't really excited about these quarterbacks. So Arizona could take a shot on him because he's only 28. The Giants could take a shot on him because he's only 28. Teams who are looking for a quarterback for the next 5 to 6 years are going to look at him.
I think he gets a lot of money for a short deal. I think he gets I don't think he's not going out there and getting a $40 million contract.
No.
He's going out there and getting $15 million for 2 years. Which, yes, it's a lot of money, but he's not going out there. No team at the end of the season, with the exception of the Vikings, I don't think any of the other 31 NFL teams are going to be like, Case Keenum's the guy that's going to bring us to the Super Bowl.
See, I think he's going to get at least 15 for
and if
Garoppolo's going to make that.
And if Ben retires, he's also a player that can go there too.
Keenum's going to get paid. He may never amount to anything, but he's going to get paid.
I agree with you. I think Keenum stays.
Well, I was just going to say, you guys mentioned Kirk, and I think he's not a good example because this guy kind of like worked the system a little bit. They throw the franchise tag on him.
Well, I don't
and
think Kirk works either. 'Cause I think Kirk is a much better quarterback than Keenum.
Oh, so do I. But I mean, these guys are going to be. They're going to set the quarterback market this year.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is like the scenario. I don't think will match what happened with him. So that's the point I was going to make.
Like Kirk is a long time option where Keenum you could draft a quarterback and you can have Keenum for 2 to 3 years, so the guy can learn the system. Like Arizona or Denver, who just need that quarterback to get them there.
Yeah. Are you putting the top back on that?
I am. I just realized that.
It's a weird thing.
I have a question for everybody. What playoff, like in the playoff hunt, what are the teams that are out of it right now that you think can actually come in and make it?
Well, I guess the Chargers. I think the Chargers. Well, I'm saying that because I think the Chargers will take the Chiefs' spot when all is said and done.
Because like the wild card, that the Ravens are 7-5, but there's 3 to 4 teams that are 6-6. Do you think Buffalo has a chance to?
Question, real quick: the Bengals have been officially eliminated, correct?
No,
they haven't.
There's 4 games left, right? 3.
No.
All right, no. I saw this thing. I guess I just misread it.
Like their playoff chances are very slim.
Yeah, but the AFC is kind of a shit show right now, so they're still in it.
The
It's
one
a long
to
shot, but they're
the
in
1
it.
to 3 seed it's gonna be the AFC South, AFC North, and AFC West. And other than that, it's wide open. Like the Ravens are playing a pretty easy schedule, but Flacco has not been Flacco.
Their defense is carrying them pretty good.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I want to hear Kyle talk about Flacco, so I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Flacco's not playing like Flacco. All right, he's usually like,
How does Flacco normally play, Kyle?
He usually gets 200. Like he can throw 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. For this year, he's lucky if he breaks 180. And you know what? The loss to Jimmy Smith is going to be bigger than everyone expects him to be. He's a lockdown corner on the left side, and now they don't have that. So now maybe they have to bring Ladarius Webb over there, who's been safety all year.
It's tough on their offense. I mean, they don't really have an offensive weapon. They have is Macklin their number one?
Yeah.
Macklin's good, but I mean, the last few years we've seen him kind of fall off. They don't have a running back. There's not too much offensively in Baltimore.
I like what you said. I want to touch on it real quick. I hate the defensive back position in the NFL now. I think it's the biggest joke in the NFL. I absolutely hate these elite corners that decide to be pussies and come out and say they come out knowing I'm an elite cornerback and I play the left side of the field. You play the number 1 receiver on the team. I don't give a shit. Josh Norman, Jimmy Smith, Talib. I don't give a who you
Norman's
are.
the only one that actually...
I don't care who you are. No, Norman was a big bitch about it for a long time.
He doesn't play the slot.
No, that's what he said. He said he wants to be on the number 1 no matter where he is.
But that's not how he was. When he was in Carolina, he wanted to only play on the right side of the field or his left side of the field. It is absolute horseshit that these elite receivers come out and call themselves elite corners and refuse to go on the other side. It is absolute horseshit. If the Ravens are playing the Bengals, there is no reason that Jimmy Smith should not be on AJ Green for every offensive snap or defensive snap he's on the field.
I agree.
And I think it is the biggest joke. I think elite corners have become the biggest, most absolute diva position in the entire
Artie Burns
NFL.
should have been on AJ Green that entire game.
They sit there, they treat it like it's an offense, and it absolutely pisses me off.
Well, I'm taking a grow shot next week, so.
Well, it's not fair. You talked a lot this episode.
Well, another thing is a team that I think can actually make a push is still the Detroit Lions. They're 6-6, and Seattle's 7-5. Seattle did not have that number 1 receiver, and Seattle did not have the defense that they've had. Sherman's out. Earl Thomas has been banged up all year.
Chancellor's
out for the year. How long can they keep it up? The Lions, they lost a big heartbreaker to the Ravens, but the rest of the schedule, can easily be wins. In Seattle this week, I forgot who they're playing.
I don't know.
Jacksonville.
Russell Wilson's going to have a hard time throwing against that secondary. And I think the Seahawks are going to lose this week. And they still got to play the Rams, who are hungry to beat them.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this then. Let's go around, as of what you know right now, we'll start with the NFC. Who are the division winners? Who are the 2 wild cards in your opinion, based off what you've seen from 12 games played from each team. Because obviously we're not going to do another one of these until the playoff picture is set. So who's winning the divisions and who are your 2 wild cards? So you can lead us off.
All right, so the Patriots are winning the East, obviously.
I said the NFC. So
Shot.
Obviously, the Patriots are
what
winning.
flavor do we have now?
It might be Apple.
Twisting that cork.
Apple.
Well, you called
Apple.
it.
I
Good
did
for
a
you.
lot of Apple there. You want to take a swig?
If you want me to.
I do.
So who?
Can I
NFC?
give it a shake?
NFC?
Yeah.
I think it goes Philadelphia.
I want to real quick. I want to do like, ever been to like Home Depot or Sherwin-Williams and the paint thing?
Shake the paint. I know no one could see you do that.
I believe,
I know.
I believe Carolina takes over New Orleans.
Wow.
Wow. Good thing Jeff's not here. I think it would hit you.
I don't care. I think the Rams win the West. And I think obviously the Vikings are going to win the North. The 2 wild card teams are going to be who's the first wild card team?
Right now, Seattle.
Seattle.
Seattle and Carolina right now.
Okay. I think it goes New Orleans, and I think it goes Atlanta.
Okay.
For me, Eagles win the East, Rams win the West, Vikings in the North, Saints in the South. 2 wild cards, Seahawks, Packers.
Well, do you think the Packers?
Yeah, I think Hundley's going to do just enough, and Aaron Rodgers is going to come back
Well,
guns blazing.
he plays the Browns this week, and Rodgers is supposed to come back next week.
It's all going to come down. If Hundley beats the Browns and Rodgers can come back strong, I think the Packers can make a push.
I'm pretty sure if Carolina wins this week, no, it has to, if Carolina beats the Packers, which I know is not this week's game, but it's in 2 weeks. If Carolina beats the Packers, it doesn't matter what happens. The Packers can't beat Carolina for the wild card seed, and yeah, and Seattle already played the Packers, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know if they won.
I can't remember. I don't remember.
I think they
Birdman?
won, but I don't remember.
I think Carolina won. I mean, Green Bay won. 'Cause that
What
was
week was it? Was Rodgers playing?
It was like week 3 to week 4.
I think Philadelphia in the East, the Vikings in the North, Rams out West, Saints down South, and I think both wild card is Falcons and Panthers. I think we have 3 South teams represented in the NFC.
Now, Paul, I know you were naming your teams, and the Red Baron just kind of jumped in on you there.
No, I wasn't naming mine.
He kicked it to me.
I was naming mine.
You sick son of a bitch. Still mint, by the way. I can't get through. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just have an aversion to it. I just can't.
I think it stays the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Minnesota, Philadelphia, Rams, New Orleans, Panthers, Seahawks. But I do think the Saints fall to a wild card spot and the Panthers take the division. That's what I think.
Man, Jeff is going to listen and just
Well,
come
the
at
thing
you
is about the
guys.
Saints is that their defense is so banged up right now.
No, I know.
And Drew Brees is not throwing the ball like he usually does, even though the running game's been there.
See, that's where I think the Saints are the most dangerous, is that they're not being carried by Drew Brees. And at any point, if the run game isn't there, Brees can turn it on.
Well, my thing and I agree with you on the offensive side of that, but defensively, I think the Saints, I think they have the ability to be like, once a team, I think a team can completely dismantle the defense. And when that happens, I think it's just going to be like it was last year, and the whole game that team is going to run down the field against them. It's just finding what it's going to take to dismantle them. I mean, luckily Breeze was able to pull it out against the Redskins, but the Redskins were kind of picking apart the defense here and there.
Because like Okafor's hurt, who was a big part of that linebacking core this year, who had about 5.5 to 6 sacks. It's just that one person is going to make a big difference on that defense.
So who's the playoff pick? What's the playoff picture for the AFC?
So I have New England, obviously in the East, Pittsburgh in the North. Down South, it's going to be Jacksonville, and out West, I'm going to give it to San Diego. The wild card, it's tough. I want Buffalo so bad, and I think they do it as a 6, and I think the Ravens get it in 5.
So you think Tennessee is going to be out of it?
I think Tennessee's going to be out of it. I think by some miracle, Buffalo makes it at the 6th seed.
All Tennessee has to do is pretty much win one more game, and they're like locked in at least wild card.
Bills Mafia. Bills,
No,
Bills.
I'm not saying that the Bills won't also do it, but I'm just saying like they'll get it as a wild card. But I'm just like Kansas City, the Chargers, Oakland, like they're all 6-6. Tennessee's 8-4. Pretty much like Tennessee pretty much just has to win one more game.
They have.
I mean, statistically they have to win 2, but they pretty much have to just win one more game out of the next 4, and they get a wild card.
I'm looking for a miracle here.
So you think Tennessee goes 0-4?
Yes.
I'm not saying Buffalo can still make it. That's not what you're hearing. Like Buffalo can still make it, and Tennessee can also make it.
I'm going to say Tennessee doesn't make it. I think the Ravens make it.
All right.
So I got New England, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Los Angeles. I'm sorry.
You better
Tennessee and
apologize.
Baltimore.
I agree with you, Kyle. Pretty much exactly. Jacksonville's going to take the lead. Why are you giving me that?
Because you agreed with Kyle.
But that's the same thing I had.
Yeah, but every time you and Jeff agree with Kyle, you should do a shot of private stock because you guys all shit on him all the time.
Yeah, because he sucks.
You.
There we go.
That hurt my ears.
All right. Mine might be a little off kilter, but I'm sticking with it anyway. So Pittsburgh and New England, Jacksonville and San Diego.
Los Angeles.
Or sorry, I mean, yeah, that's right. And then,
Ooh, first shot at the private stock.
even though I defended it against Kendall, I'm not doing that. I don't have to. I made it. Even though I defended it against Kendall, I'm gonna agree with Kendall. I think Tennessee skids out, and I'm gonna say Kansas City and Baltimore.
Tennessee has the easiest schedule left.
Okay.
Can I tell you, every team that I've picked,
Baltimore's played the last team in every division for like the last 60 years, and they still haven't beaten any of them.
so far this season, every team from the AFC that I picked to go to the Super Bowl has now fallen out of playoff contention. Oakland and the Chiefs.
The Chiefs aren't out of it yet.
But they will be.
Neither is Oakland.
They will be.
Big game this weekend. Kansas City, Oakland.
They're going to tie.
Then Kansas City plays Los Angeles next week.
They're going to tie also.
So we'll just do this we'll go through the range real quick. I know that our producer over there, Mr. Red Baron, wants us to wrap up.
His
So
shirt is off for some reason. I don't know why.
who's your biggest surprise this season? Who's your biggest disappointment this season? Mock, lead us off.
Biggest surprise for me so far is Josh McCown.
No, I meant team.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
team. Okay.
I should have prefaced it. Team.
The team for me is the Minnesota Vikings. I really thought this season they were going to finish like 7-9. But, I mean, good for them. Bradford got hurt. Keenum came in. He's playing great. I didn't expect that to happen.
I don't know why everyone's shitting on the Vikings. I just don't understand why everyone thought that they were going to be so bad.
I thought...
No, not that they were going to be bad.
Here's the
but
thing.
just
The
they weren't
Vikings. I thought the Vikings going into the season were going to be a 10-win team for sure, without a doubt. I thought they were going to win 10 games.
Because Sam Bradford was
defense-
also good.
Sam Bradford was playing well. They have 2 good receivers. At the time, in the beginning of the season, they had a good running back. They've got a tight end that's decided to step it up after 4,000 years in the league. And
The biggest thing,
defense
though-
is fantastic. They're a 10-win team.
The biggest thing about the Vikings this year, the offensive line is actually blocking for them.
And the thing, too, is they didn't have that hard of a schedule.
No.
Listen, we don't have the time. What I'm saying is you expect the Packers to clean up
We have
and the
the time.
Lions to play well enough to be better than them. That was the point.
No, what? I would never expect the Lions to be better than the Vikings. I
don't see how, though. Stafford plays well.
Yeah, but he
the
doesn't
offense is
have
there.
that receiver.
Kyle, I can't believe you, of all people, are going to back down on supporting the
I
Lions.
love the Lions.
You are full
They
of...
have no running game, and the defense is overrated.
The Lions
As the
would
biggest supporter of the Lions at this table, how dare you go and turn your back
I would
on them?
agree with you if the Lions had to play 16 games that resulted in 15 minutes each. Then they'd be the greatest team in all of football.
I don't want to
But
continue if Kyle's backing
No,
down
they don't
on
have
the
a running
Lions.
game. That's their biggest thing.
I'm just saying, in a million years, would never think that this coming season the Lions would have been better than the Vikings. Because the Lions' defense is not as nearly as good as the Vikings. They have 1 good receiver. The Vikings have 2. The Lions don't have a tight end. The Vikings do. The Lions didn't have a running back coming into the season. The Vikings did. The only thing the Lions have is a quarterback. That's literally the
and the Vikings also have Dalvin Cook coming back next year.
I don't foresee the Lions.
Listen, I
Being
love the
better than
Lions,
the
but
Vikings.
Abdullah is not the answer. Theo Riddick is not the answer. They need a running back in order for that team to be good.
Who's up for their disappointments and surprises? Is it me?
So anyway, so you said the Vikings are the surprise.
And my disappointment is going to be my New York Giants. They broke my heart this year. They went.
I think it's unfair.
But here's the thing.
Just because of injury purposes.
It was injuries. It was, but it was also McAdoo wasn't a great coach. Like last year was kind of fluky. Think about it. In 12 weeks, the Giants went from a possible Super Bowl contender to a laughingstock in the NFL. It didn't take long for it to happen. No one expected it to happen, and it was extremely upsetting.
So,
My biggest surprise is the Los Angeles Rams.
There you go.
and I slurred my words like 300 times.
So the Rams, no one expected Jared Goff to play the way he did. No one expected the offensive weapons to play like they did.
Cooper Kupp,
Sammy Watkins.
You didn't say it right.
Cooper Kupp. Sammy Watkins and Robert
It
Woods.
says it so fast, I can't do it.
Cooper
Kupp.
Watkins and Woods have played out of their more Woods has played better for the Rams than Watkins has. But Watkins is coming along now. He's stepping up for Woods' absence. The Goff is playing phenomenal football, taking care of the ball and stuff like that.
Who's your biggest disappointment?
You got to think too, real quick. Gurley is playing out of his mind this year. Last year, he looked like he was going to be another
the offensive
bust.
line. They signed.
I know.
They signed Andrew Whitworth.
They stepped it up. They made it happen. But last year, everyone was ready to write off Gurley.
I'm just saying the best thing that happened to them was signing the head coach Sean McVay.
They're making it happen this year.
Disappointment?
The Oakland Raiders. Going into the season, I had high hope for Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree. I thought the offense couldn't be stopped. They're all underperforming. I don't think Amari Cooper has even like 600 to 700 yards. I think he has like 530.
Well, keep in mind, Carr missed time. Cooper's missed a couple.
Carr missed one game. He came back that next game against the Ravens.
He only missed one?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think he missed more than one game.
Oh. Well, either way. I'm sorry.
The thing is, even if Carr's not there, it doesn't matter because I understand like a quarterback you need to have a quarterback that can throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But Cooper's the receiver that he's the perfect receiver that just go, hey, he's like an Antonio Brown, he's like an Odell Beckham Jr. We're going to mold you to this quarterback to make this quarterback successful.
He dropped so many passes this year.
Yes. But they also went to Crabtree a lot more this year.
And also, Marshawn Lynch.
Cooper wasn't performing well.
Marshawn Lynch is not the running back that they need.
Nope.
They do not need a power back. They need a speed back who can actually make things happen instead of a guy that just wants a touchdown.
I think this season, Lynch talked himself out of the Hall of Fame.
I don't think he was a Hall of Famer to begin with.
I don't think, but he would have been considered.
I don't think he would have.
I think after this season, it's never going to happen.
We'll save. That's an interesting discussion.
I'm sorry, just one more second.
Okay.
He had fantastic plays, not career.
I think surprise was the Eagles. I personally thought the Cowboys were going to wrap up. And disappointment for me was the Bills. I just thought they were going to be more offensively dominant. That is all.
I'd like to do 2 for each, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay, well, Kyle, give me the okay, so fuck you, Red Baron.
Whoa. Not cool.
Here's no time, bro. This is a great show.
Souls.
Disappointment for both mine. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I didn't expect them to even make it to the NFC Championship game. Definitely expected them to make the wild card. I know there was injuries, but they have an elite receiver. They've got
who's played like ass this year.
They've got good running backs. They have a good young quarterback with a promising future. The defense has pieces there, and they have sucked ever since their first game of their season. They have been terrible. My other disappointment is the Denver Broncos. I understand that the quarterback thing wasn't really there for them, and this isn't even counting Simeon's hot start. Just the receivers are there, and they're not playing well. I know you need a quarterback to get the ball to them, but they're not playing well. And the defense, I understand leaving on the field a lot, but the defense it's supposed to be the number 1 defense in the league, and it's not even close. Surprising teams, Jacksonville. They've got it done offensively with a quarterback that's less than par.
Inept. And
I half expected them to have struggles defensively because their 2 big stars on defense are in only their second year of the league, and one of them was bound to have a terrible year, and neither of them did. They're both having great years.
Can I just say something? I think Jalen Ramsey is the best defensive back in football.
Okay, you just said
that
it.
is it.
Okay. And then My other surprise was, oh God, I had it here. I lost it. Oh God.
Kyle, you should say that to Jalen on like Twitter. Just make a Twitter to tell him that.
I don't
Day
know.
after day.
I'm surprised no one said it, but the New Orleans Saints. If you told me the New Orleans Saints were going to have 6 wins by this point in the season, I would have laughed in your face. No shot to Jeff.
Man, Jeff is just going to fight you guys.
It's no shot to Jeff.
No, I know.
Their number one receiver was just a young guy that was supposed to and is seeing extraordinary extra amounts of cover. Their tight end is garbage. The rest of their receivers really haven't come to play or weren't supposed to be anything serious. You didn't know what to expect out of this Kamara kid. Mark Ingram, you would just expect Mark Ingram to give you what he's given, not go above and beyond. And would any of you have sat here and told me that the Saints would have a defense that looks top 5 in defense?
No. Especially after last year, they were one of the worst defenses.
You would have expected the Saints to. You would expect every Saints game. You would expect them to right now to be 5-7, 6-6, and have all their games be 34-42. 28-35. That's what you would have expected.
And they've gotten better since they traded Peterson.
It's similar. Like I said before, this is I think the first time in Drew Brees' career where the game is not dependent on his arm. He has 2 running backs. I mean, Ingram, like you said, he's was always like an above average guy, but he's playing great. Kamara looks like a stud. Brees doesn't have to go out and throw 400 yards a game, but he can if they need him to.
Right. I got 2 more segments. Do we have time, Red Baron?
Yeah, we do our picks, our Super Bowl picks again.
Okay, so I guess I have 1 segment.
Sorry.
Real quick. So
Sorry.
It's only 1 segment. I had just 1 more thing to say. I have 1 more thing I'd like to throw into the pile, simply for just fun sakes of conversation.
Kyle wants you to take a shot if you say it.
Okay. It's mostly for conversation. I also have another surprising and disappointing team.
Okay.
And it's the Pittsburgh Steelers for both. I am extremely surprised at how well the defense has played this year. I would have never assumed that the Steelers would have been able to put the game on their defense's back multiple times and win the game. I'm disappointed because the Pittsburgh Steelers should be the only undefeated team in football right now.
I agree.
Of course you do, Kyle.
No.
They deserve to lose the game against Jacksonville, but they should have beat Jacksonville. I understand that Ben threw 5 picks, but so before the game had started, there was no reason that the Steelers, the way the defense had been playing and the way the offense is, there's no reason that they shouldn't have beaten the Jacksonville Jaguars, and there's no reason they should have lost to the Bears. Sorry, to Jordan Howard.
But that's the Steelers do that every year. They play down to a team. They do that every year.
No, I understand.
My biggest thing is though,
but every other team that's in that kind of 10-2 realm of the 4 teams that are 10-2, the Steelers are the only team that I feel should have won those games.
I agree with you.
They should have been shoo-ins for the 2 games that they lost.
I think Ken will agree with me. Joe Hayden is the reason that the Steelers won that many games.
Yeah,
because the passing defense was so bad the last few years, and in order to fix that, get a guy like Joe Hayden who can lock down the big time receivers like an AJ Green, or
the Steelers couldn't play man and they were forced to play zone and they were getting killed on it.
And this year they decided they're going to play man, and it's worked.
All right, fair. Okay, I just that was my opinion on it. Super Bowl predictions. Souls.
I'm going to go with...
I thought you were going to say something. That's why there was the pause.
I'm going to go with Seattle. Actually, no. I didn't pick Seattle to go to the playoffs.
Oh, good thing you got the private stock right there.
Right on dick.
All right. I'm going...
The Wizards and Kings. I'll go while he's thinking. I have the Patriots, and I'm finally going off of Dallas. I think the Rams go.
I say... Now this may be the kiss of death because the 2 teams from the AFC that I've said have fallen off. Steelers, Saints.
Wow.
Right, Baron?
He already went.
No.
I did Patriots, Rams.
Oh, that's right, because I told Kyle to go. I'm not doing that. It's their fault for being unorganized.
He already went. You owe a shot.
I don't know anybody.
I'm going with the Battle of Pennsylvania, Steelers, Eagles.
Ooh, the Steagles.
The Steagles.
A Steagle Super Bowl, huh? All right, that's fair, but I don't think that's the case. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
You're going to go with the Patriots, and I accept it.
That's not what I'm going with. Sorry. I think we have a real ugly Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl is Seattle and Jacksonville.
That'd be fun.
Real ugly.
Do you think Jacksonville wins?
I do.
Come on. You guys can do better than that.
All right, that's true.
There it is.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Beer reviews?
Well, Kyle lost.
It's Budweiser.
Well, tell me about it, Kyle.
Better than some of the other stuff I've had.
Fair enough.
We'll take it.
Better than that cider you guys made me drink.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the guy that runs PPRN, who plays our show every Sunday, Peter Pinho. He has his own show on the PPR Network every Tuesday and Wednesday from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. Check it out. Real funny. We've been on it a couple times. It's a great show.
Don't listen to the last time we were on it.
No, check it out.
All bad things happened. I forgot what I was going to say. I don't remember. Oh, I remember now. Where can they find us?
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Getting Sports with Drunk. Twitter is GSWD_4. Be sure to subscribe on Podbean and iTunes. You can find us on the Leeb Sports Network every day from 7 to 8 a.m. and on PPRN every Sunday from 12 to 1 p.m.
I missed my cue.
I know.
Use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily uses, whether it's chugging a 40 or mixing a bunch of shit together to make it taste bad. We thank you for listening, and we remind you all to get sports with drunk. Feel free to comment on all of our social medias to let us know what you think about the Super Bowl predictions. And until next time, I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler.
I'm Mark.
Sheen Washable.
Nope.
I'm the man of many names.
And I'm the Red Baron.
Meow.